Hey, this is Andy Jenkins here with the Oily App Podcast. In the last episode, we started talking about all things Thieves. Now, let me tell you this, I forgot to mention this, and I got a couple emails, text messages, got a couple private messages, direct messages through our social feeds about this. All Things Thieves is a book that is available that we've released. Dr. Jim Bob Haggerton and I wrote that together. It was the first book that we actually penned together. You can read actually the process of writing that book is in the beginning of the book, where I said that, I didn't go learn all the science. Jim Bob knew all of the science. And so I sat down with him for several hours. And in that several hours, I got really about a week's worth of material. And the trick was after that several hours, like my brain was just in warp speed overdrive, clogged. My mind felt like it had endured a week. Like that guy knows that much information and was able to distill it and download it that succinctly, that quickly. And so a lot of what you read in that book, the science, that's Jim Bob's research. That's the stuff that he's put together. And in this episode, what we're going to do is we're going to start talking about, the title is The Secret Sauce Revealed. And so we're going to talk about why does Thieves Blend work? Why and how is it the immune powerhouse? Okay, so what you're going to find out is there's 5 main oils in there, and each of them work together to create this environment that synergizes to where your body can actually do its best. So you've got things in there like clove, the number one immune support. You got things like lemon, which is for circulation and more. You've got cinnamon, with healthy blood sugar, which maybe just a footnote. Let me remind you that on Oily App, on our website, there is a course you can upgrade from the app to Oily App Plus. You can go pro there, and you can get a class on healthy blood sugar where Jim Bob teaches that. Anyway, oil number 4, Eucalyptus radiata, which is for respiratory support. Oil number 5 is rosemary, which is this oil that does all the other stuff that keeps the internal parts less puffed and more free to move. Okay, I'll give you better language for that in the video series. We're going to go to the audio from video number 2, where we taught this for an Oily App Plus class. Every single month, we release a new class with scripts, graphics, with some of our best images that we place all over social media. It's usually about an hour long of a class broken up into 3 or 4 videos, so it's easy to kind of watch and review and get back to perfect information for educating yourself and for training other people. So all this comes from video number 2 of that All Things Thieves series. Here we go. Let me roll right into it. The Secret Sauce Revealed. I'm going to tell you with Jim Bob what's inside of Thieves, and more importantly, why it's so, let's use this word, magical.
We are live again. Video number 2. Secret Sauce Revealed.
Can we call it a sauce? Is like that compliant? Or is that assuming that, I guess if we just put the Vitality bottle right there the whole time?
I think so. I'm going to make you big in the screen so that you can see the Vitality. Like spaghetti sauce, Everybody wants to know the secret. Like everybody wants to know the secret sauce. Their grandma's famous spaghetti. Hello again. Hey, Kelly. Hey, Kristen. I'm just glad it keeps working. That's good. Like I'm running the tech here and it keeps going into the right group. And now we're on to the second section that you're going to love in the book, talking about the secret sauce.
Hey, while they're getting on, let's tell them about the book. We just cranked out a whole book on this that's on Amazon right now. In fact, those of you who are Oily App Plus members, you'll have this book absolutely free on April 1st. And we've sent the book out to a ton of people who've been very gracious to read through it, do some reviews on Amazon, give us some feedbacks, find the typos, all that kind of stuff. Chapter number 3, this one's crazy because I talked to Jim Bob for about an hour or so while we were planning this chapter. And man, after after I talked to you for an hour, I felt like I'd been in a library for 7 days.
Well, there's just one you asked me. Hey, what do you think about these oils? I'm like, well, geez, man, I don't know.
That wasn't an insult. That was like in the best way possible.
Yeah.
I just, man, there's some amazing, there's some incredible things that are like in your head.
Well, thanks. I know it doesn't look like it a lot of times, but I got a lot going on upstairs.
It's who knew, right?
I know, totally. But you guys are going to love the book. I mean, the thing that we loved about doing it is, again, making a book that you guys are going to actually really want to read And it is fantastic for your new members to be able to share with your new members and have as a resource for them at your classes to talk about why Thieves is so incredible as a blend and why you should be using it on yourself and your family every single day.
Rocket, this one's you, man. You're the science guy. Like, I can talk about Thieves, but
all right, sweet.
I would rather do that. Like, put it on, use it, diffuse, whatever.
Okay. Well, let's talk about a couple things. So, in Thieves, you have a blend of different oils, which I think is important for people to understand, especially people who are new and your newer members. One thing to really remember is Gary Young was a genius, and he knew which plants would work well together in which amounts. So what he did with a lot of our blends is everyone knows that certain essential oils are good for certain parts of the body because the way that the frequency of the plant is, it resonates with that part of the body and it will help that part of the body work better. Like eucalyptus is great for the respiratory tract and lungs and it to work better. Now, Gary Young was incredible, and he was an incredible scientist, and he knew essential oils well. And so we have singles in Young Living, we have oil-infused supplements in Young Living, and then we also have in the essential oil category blends, which takes multiple essential oils with a synergistic effect, meaning they all work together, they're all in the same team, and blends them together to get not individual actions, but a group activity of all the oils towards one specific goal. So this blend is huge, but each of the different oils has a different role, much like a basketball team. I mean, you have different players at different positions on the court, but each player has their own job, but together their overall goal is to win a basketball game, right? Like that's the whole goal. So with Thieves, their overall goal is to help support your immune system. That is the win for this team, but each of the different players has different roles. So, in Thieves, you have clove essential oil, which, Andy and I talked about this, and, you start talking about science and antioxidants and all that stuff, and I go crazy geeky about it, like we're talking about the Avengers movies or something. I don't know. I mean, I love it. Well, clove is like the Michael Jordan of this team because clove is a massively high antioxidant score. Andy talks about it in the book, but there is a scoring system called the ORAC score. Read about it in the book, but it basically measures, okay, how many antioxidants, which are good guys that help make sure that the body keeps functioning well and doesn't build up too many free radicals. Like how many antioxidants does the thing really have? Anything that goes in your mouth pretty much has an antioxidant score if it's a live food. Like if you're eating a salad, there's a certain amount of antioxidants in that. If you eat blueberries, there's a certain amount of antioxidants in those, like around 2,500 antioxidant score per serving, right? Nature Red, there's a whole puree and blend of different powerful juices and different superfoods. There's an antioxidant level to that. And in a serving of Nature Red, we know that the actual score is around 30,000. Clove is the highest measured antioxidant on the actual market ever. And the clove antioxidant score is over 1 million. It's like 1,078,000. It's massive. And what that means is that clove is literally slam dunking the ball on your immune system to help keep it promoted and to keep it to where it needs to be. So it's the one that's the forerunner on that. But, as you start using it, what Andy and I were talking about a lot is like, well, why would there be lemon in there? Why would they have lemon? Why would cinnamon be in there? Like, what do those have to do with immune system? Well, one secret is that every essential oil is great for immunity because they all have antioxidants. They're all great to help your body do what it's supposed to do better. But in this blend, lemon, the next oil that's in the blend, one of its claims to fame is not only supporting urinary tract and digestion, which we just talked about in video 1. If you missed that one, go back and look at the video we talked about where Thieves actually came from and the history of it. But remember, we talked about the lymphatic system. Well, when you were talking about the lymphatics and how they take out all the things we don't want, put them into the digestive tract and into the urinary tract to be able to allow your body to excrete and get rid of the bad so that you can hold on to the good. Lemon helps to make sure that that works the way it's supposed to. Also, talking about the lymphatic system, you need to have really good circulation in order for that to work. You also need really great circulation in your blood supply to get to where it needs to be, when you're creating an immune response so that all of those soldiers, all of those good players in this immune game can get where they need to be, right? Well, lemon is amazing at helping assist normal circulation. That's one of the things it's the best at. So when you're adding lemon vitality into your water and you're doing things like that, even as a single, you're having an incredible response on how good your circulation can be, right? Well, it's added to the blend. Then you take cinnamon bark that's in there, and not only does it have great immune properties and support the body that way, the thing that cinnamon bark is really great with too is helping to regulate and allow for really healthy blood sugar balance. Well, here's the deal. If your blood sugar does not stay balanced during the day, if it goes too high or too low, either of those can affect the immune system. Either way, it doesn't matter if you are hyper and you get way up here or hypo and you haven't eaten enough. Either of those scenarios can cause your immune system to go down and to dip because it increases the amount of inflammation and stress on the body. And if your body stresses out, one thing that you always have to remember is the higher your stress goes, the lower your immune system goes. I mean, it's an inverse relationship. More stress means less immunity because your stress is starting to affect that system. So with cinnamon, you're able to help to regulate sugar, keep your blood sugar more in a normal range of where it needs to be so that A, you're keeping your system and your adrenal glands where they're supposed to so that it can help assist the immune system. But B, at the same time, your body is not going into this stress response at the time that you need it the most so that it is keeping everything, again, where it is created to be and it stays in that normal range while it's fighting it. The last two in there, there's eucalyptus, and eucalyptus is incredible for the lungs. Remember when we talked about the history in video 1, we talked about one of the things with the bubonic plague that they experienced was that one of the systems that was affected the most after the lymphatic system started to get clogged up and the trash cans were overflowing, one of the things that happened was the lungs got really stressed out and the lungs started to create problems. Well, in order to add enough oxygen into the blood to help with circulation, and also in order to make sure that the flow of that blood is working good, and to make sure and support the very system that is one of the ones that fails the quickest if your body's not doing what's created, you have eucalyptus in there. And it's an amazing one to be able to support that system in and of itself. What's the last one in there? Andy, is rosemary in there?
Rosemary is one of the oils.
Because that's the fifth one, right?
Well, I mean, when you read the history of all of it, Gary says that what they came across consistently was lemon, cinnamon, eucalyptus radiata is one he added. Rosemary was kind of the number 4 oil that was in all of them. And then, eucalyptus radiata is kind of a Young Living. It's a Gary add-on to that.
Eucalyptus wasn't in the 4 Thieves blend. That was one he knew that would be really supportive and would help. And so he had added an extra. That's right.
But rosemary is one that was consistently, in the beaks of the doctors. It was in the orange that the priest had. It was one that the thieves were putting, behind their necks. So let's.
Well, think about this from a historical standpoint. Like, you take those 4 essential oils. Those 4 essential oils were things that they could readily get. And back in the day, I mean, you weren't talking about a place where they were like, oh man, we have this thing going on. Someone call in, the local pharmacy and get us the 4 Thieves blend. No. They had each of these things in their kitchen, and they knew that if they took lemon rinds, they took rosemary, they took clove and cinnamon and crushed it all up together, and they added it to this mixture and wrapped these rags in it and stuff that they knew over all of these different historical references that was something that helped with immunity. And so these were people that were knowledgeable about things that they could use in hand, which again, talking about Thieves and all the different ways that we have to use it in Young Living as Young Living members, isn't that the same thing? Like we have the roll-on, like Andy was saying, we have the Vitality, we have the regular Thieves, we have the dish soap, all these things to be able to, again, use what we have at hand to help our family be as healthy as possible.
Well, here's like maybe one thing I would say on it, when you and I were talking through this, it was mind-boggling because you had said one point was it's not just the individual oils themselves, it's kind of the synergy of putting the whole team together. Kind of like you used the basketball analogy. Most basketball teams, they've got 5 players on the court at the same time, and you'll see that sometimes it's not the team that has the best player win, as evidenced by the fact that LeBron James didn't win a championship for years.
Right.
But it's the guys that have the best team that work together. And there's something about these oils, they're all great oils, but it's something about the synergy of when you get those working together that it makes something that's almost magical. Powerhouse, I'm going to start sounding voodoo-ish, but
no, but it's true. I mean, like all of it, like the purity matters more than anything else. And in Young Living, we have the highest quality, highest purity level, and the therapeutic grade oils of any company on the market. And that is huge because if you get any chemicals or any junk in the blend, you're going to mess up the way that essential oil works. If you get any essential oils that aren't the highest quality, well, now it's like bringing in the third bench player to play with the varsity 5 starters, and it brings down the entire team because you've got a guy that's hardly played basketball at all, let's say, playing with all-stars, and it lowers the overall effectiveness of your basketball team. That's exactly how an essential oil blend is. So in the blends, even more than the singles, it's vital that the quality and that the purity is the highest that we can possibly get it. And thankfully, Gary was even more specific about the quality and the purity and the level of the oils, I think, than even anything else. I mean, that was something that he was just crazy passionate about all the time.
Well, the final slide I think that we've got there on this one is maybe one to leave people with, because the reality is most people aren't going to remember the science of all this.
Exactly.
Like there's no way. And I think that one right there speaks to it. If I'm drowning, if I'm in the ocean, I'm hoping that you will throw me a life ring instead of explaining to me the properties of buoyancy.
Yeah, I know you're drowning. Hold on. Guess what?
Yeah. I can explain why flotation works, but if the ship goes down, like if it's the Titanic, I'm jumping on, like I'm going to tell Rose, if I'm Jack, hey, scoot over. That piece of wood's floating. There's plenty of room to get up there, right? You don't have to understand the science of why this works. The science is helpful, and you should in time learn that and avail yourself of it. There's incredible resources. But the more important thing is don't wait until you understand it all. Jump in and start using it.
Yeah, like the book that we have that's out, I mean, you can read about those oils, you can go back through them, and it's really written for you to understand. Like that's our whole goal with all of this. And so learning it later on to understand why it's working is great, because then you can understand better how to share with your friends and why it's going to help them and why it would be great for their kids and why this is just an amazing oil to help with everyone. But yes, like Andy said, you can get so caught up in the why something works that you never actually put it on. And that's not the point. The point is to crack that little seal on the bottles and go to town using it so you can actually get the effect from it.
That's a good place to end. Here's what I want to do. Let's end this video. That's video number 2. We're going to come back, refresh your page. We'll be back with video number 3, and we're going to let Jim Bob tell you how you should start using Thieves. Really important, and I promise you, absolutely not what you think. All right, we'll be back with video number 3, how to start using Thieves.
Okay, there you go. Now that may pull the curtain back a little bit and let you see like what's really going on there. Okay, let me give you a couple housekeeping things as we sign off. This episode is brought to you by Oily App. Oily App is like having a desk reference on your smartphone, but it does things that a book cannot do. For instance, you can't just update a book when Young Living releases a new product. You got to get a new book. But because of our contract with Young Living, because we're the only third-party compliant approved app, we have access and update when they release a new product. And so we just push that out with a new update. It's free. It's a one-time fee for you to get the app. And then after that, you get all future updates delivered right to you. Just be sure you got your notifications and everything else in your app store turned on. It's available on Apple. It's available on Android. You can manage your inventory there. You can do stock notifications when things go in, when they go out, when Young Living is, out of something that's always your favorite oil, right? You can put on the stock notifications. When it's back, it'll let you know, and then you can know, oh, yeah, I need to go buy it right then. We have some explanatory videos. One of the best parts is, I know that you heard Dr. Jim Bob teach in this lesson some incredible things. He actually does this series on Oily App called JB in 60, where he takes every product that Young Living has. He's almost got them all, very close, which is hard because they've got 500 plus SKUs. And in 60 seconds, he breaks down what that product is, why you need it, how it supports your overall health and wellness. It is an astounding video series, all right there in the app. Super easy to search. You just go to the product you want. You can read about the product, or boom, you can press click, watch JB for 60 seconds or less. By the way, All Things Thieves, it's available on Amazon. It's available on our website. You can get those things in bulk. And again, it is available in Espanol. And the video series for All Things Thieves also available in Spanish. I'm going to put all the links to that in the show notes. Finally, I'm going to put the 67 uses for Thieves PDF free download right there in the show notes. Go grab that, take a scan, look at it, and look at all the incredible things that you can do with the Thieves. We're not selling Thieves. You've already got it, hopefully. Look at all the amazing things that you can do and how you can integrate it into your overall household environment and be a better, healthier, wiser, more feeling better you. I'll see you again next week.